At one of our lyceums, I was told that a young girl there was an indigo, spiritually different from most of her companions. What was a closed door, a closed wall for most people into the other world, would be to such people transparent. One morning she walked into my room and said she wanted to talk. What about? I see things differently from other people. Oh, you mean you have an original point of view? No. I see the streams of coloured energies around everything, people, objects, all that is. I made a point of reassuring her that many throughout the ages have had unusual faculties. These people were sometimes deified, often burnt at the stake, or put in monasteries. Nowadays, some are slowly poisoned by medication prescribed by well-meaning experts who believe that all visions are hallucinations. So even despite side effects of drugs, at least they think that sufferers may decline in health, but at least die sane. They're even drugging small children now, of 5 and 7 and things, and no wonder that they're committing suicide in the kindergarten age. It's extraordinary. I remember during the war I used to go round art galleries and heard the lamentations of the uniformed attendants who missed the works of art, the ancient works hidden for safety. Why? You'd give me remarkable reasons. They explained that, seen from a particular spot on the floor, the picture became alive. At Hampton Court Palace, one enthusiastic attendant made me stand at an uncomfortable angle, head straight backwards, to enjoy the spectacle of a Greek god driving his chariot across the ceiling. But what the attendant admired was the chariot of turning wheels, driven across the sky by galloping horses. He saw the turning wheels, he saw the galloping horses and manes flying. To him, it was living. To me, it was a work of art. I never forgot this, and one happy night it happened to me. In London, I was dutifully gazing at Bonnard seascapes. Never a particular fan of Bonnard. I'd won a university scholarship in European art at a university in Dublin, so I thought I knew about art appreciation from 1200 to 1900. I saw with my mind. I'd always disagreed with those who said that in spirit world artists would create more wonderfully. How could they show in impasto rough lumps of paint the tactile solidity of matter? That night it happened. I woke up. I was in the etheric realm and saw the Bonnard seascapes, not as paintings alone, but an extraordinary fusion of spirit and matter, as if the two worlds, the next world and the other, were one, and I was fully conscious. There were the sensuous brush strokes, thick, but the sea was actually moving in waves. Trees, beach, earth were livid with light. I could have walked into the painting, and I believe those who say Chinese people do this. I remember a Chinese artist who, when he had completed his landscape, invited his friends to say goodbye to a feast. They had the feast, and then they watched him walk into the landscape, getting smaller and smaller, until he vanished. Now I knew that it is possible for us to experience the two spheres of spirit and matter at the same time, and maybe his friends were tuned in to that particular vibe, probably followers of Lao Tzu. I did discover that well-educated people had none of this faculty, usually, but so-called uneducated folk had this adorable gift. Does education of the mind inhibit the psyche? It always irritated when people said the Hindu very smart thing to say was the mind is slayer of the real. I begin to think it is. An amazing example occurred at Stonehenge some years ago. I was admiring the mighty dolmens, watching the ordinary tourists. I wished they weren't there. Tourists, you know, we always think that sort of thing about tourists. A very ordinary tourist, a nice little woman, very suburban looking, seemed fascinated by the stones. She stood looking and looking. She said to me, "The pictures are so nice." "Pictures? What pictures?" She pointed to the stones. "They are so real and bright, those pictures." The bus driver of the group joined us. He too commended the paintings on the stones. I was forced to confess that I was short-sighted. I couldn't see them. "Are they like Egyptian pictures?" I asked. "Oh, no," said the woman. "They look very real. The people are wearing such nice coloured clothes." The bus driver inspected the pictures on the dolmens more closely. Then he agreed. They were more real people than the Egyptian pictures all sideways. Very nice and real-looking. I thought of the white horses and male figures on the hills nearby. Certainly the Long Man of Wilmington was extremely real. However, I did have one treasured glimpse of what ancient Egyptian temples really did look like. I had thought that the painted cathedrals of Europe and temples of Egypt and Greece must have looked rather garish when they were decorated. They were better at ruins. Not so. In vision I saw a great pillar in Karnak absolutely clearly. The pillars were painted in exactly the same colour as the local stone in the sun's glow, not garish. Natural earth colour. On this ochre background, the hieroglyphs were exquisitely decorated in brilliant jewel-like colours. The walls looked alive with scenes from another sphere. Sculptures? They used to be coloured too, and I was taught one should not paint marble or any stone. It was bad taste and bad art. Greek statues were far best left chalky white. But I had a vision of an actual Greek man painted in his death as a god. He showed himself to me. He'd been elevated to godhead by the Emperor Hadrian. He was Antinous, and I had expressed curiosity as to the appearance of this man, regarded as a perfect god image in the Greek style. He himself showed me this vision. His body was lying flat in a fine woolen white toga draped across the shoulders, broad shoulders. His face was not made up as we do with greasy colours. It was painted like a picture. His features were classical, save for high cheekbones. But what shocked me was his expression of utter bitterness and despair. He had committed suicide by drowning. He wished me to know, through telepathy, that he was a lover of peace and goodwill against wars and admired Quakers. He said he liked the simplicity of our rituals, of our ceremonies. So the walls of our prison house of the senses, the material senses, are beginning to dissolve. Those we thought dead live. The beauties of the ancient world reveal themselves. As we center ourselves in divine reality, we may explore the cosmos and yet never lose our own originality while we honor that of others.